We are live, and I've only got one screen today, so I'm a little bit handicapped. That's all right. Jeffrey Darty, the Christian whistleblower, along with, as always, on Sunday mornings, R. Wayne Steiger. This is not your normal Sunday show. Someone says, how can there already be thumbs down? That's just the world we live in, ladies and gentlemen.
That's a bad sidekick.
Yeah, and I gotta find this, and we just took care of that. We're good.
Okay. Well, good morning, sir. How are you?
I'm well. I am not at home, obviously. I am on the road from an undisclosed location somewhere in Iowa because we've got our new show coming up at 10 a.m. this morning. Three's Wild. We're doing our NFL picks for the week. I have Sarah Soderlund, Paranormal Sarah. She's a psychic. She's going to do her picks. I've got the trusty Rods. I'm going to do my picks. And we've got a professional handicapper, Chris Neff, also a great comedian out of L.A., and he's going to do his picks, professional style. We're going to see what happens.
Hey, if you start having a winning streak, everybody's going to want to be on there.
Well, that's why I'm in the casino, Wayne, because I am going to go bet my picks.
Well, that's a man who not only talks the talk, but walks the talk.
I'm going to put my money where my mouth is, Wayne.
There you go. Well, hey, may good fortune find you.
Oh, by the way, and I don't know if I'll get shut down for showing this, but I got a new member of my family that you will appreciate right here.
Oh, look at that.
A Glock 19.
There you go.
Yeah.
Don't leave home without it.
I don't. That's my concealed carry weapon now.
Don't leave home without it. I wonder if Jerry Seinfeld would do one. Could you see that?
That would be hilarious.
That would be funny, seriously, with him and Kramer, with George. Oh, yeah.
So I look a little washed out today, but, I just can't help the color. But I do have some good casino coffee.
Excellent.
Ooh. It reminds me of being in Vegas, Wayne. And, Vegas is all right, but I don't miss the small casino life at all. Trust me.
I got burned out on Vegas.
I like living there. I very rarely went to the Strip.
Yeah, well.
Somebody says Gary Baxter, Zach Hubbard will assist with NFL gambling. Not me, because I asked him a bunch of times and he didn't want to do it. So is that bad? Should I have not said that?
I don't know. In this case, I'm completely ignorant of the situation.
It's probably best that way, Wayne.
No, it's the only thing. Jeffrey.
Now, I will say this. I did pick the Thursday night game correctly, so the Rods are 100% so far this season.
Well, tell me what Denver will do with Oakland.
Was it Oakland and Denver today?
Monday Night Football. I think they got
Monday Night Football.
Yeah, I think there's 2 games on Monday night.
Early game normally are.
And then there's a late game where they're playing in Oakland.
Oh, they're playing in Oakland?
Mm-hmm.
So it's Oakland. Denver is actually the underdog.
Wouldn't surprise me.
And they're playing in Oakland?
They're playing in Oakland.
Well, let's do this one real quick. Will Denver win on Monday night? Denver will not win on Monday night.
Well, there you go, folks.
Will Oakland cover the spread? Oakland will not cover the spread.
Whoa.
Wait a minute. I don't know. I figured out how to do this. But anyway, that's going to be – it's Denver. It's Oakland +1, so Denver's a slight favorite.
Well –
so anyway, that's how
I don't know. Maybe John Elway will get
Denver cover the spread. Denver will cover the spread, it says. Denver cover the spread. So there you go.
All right.
I got to do all that after we get done before 10 o'clock. So.
Well, we'll have to – you're going to need at least 5 minutes.
I am.
Yeah.
I am.
At least
so you said you were ready to give up on all of history.
No, I'm studying history, and the thing that I was up last night, and you can see I was in my office late writing. I contend the Bible, God, the Bible, the Quran, the Vedic are all nothing more than frauds. They have no foundation in reality. They have absolutely no foundation at all of existence of actual being. And My proof to that is, show me where all of this so-called Judaism and Sumerian and all the other crap, the Egyptians and everyone else, where were they 13,000 years ago when the comet hit? And where were they in taking the precarious and the laborious steps of preserving records of this cataclysm that apparently no God could stop, because apparently God didn't exist. If you believe the Judaism history, they say that the world creation started 35, 40, something like that, BCE. Well, the problem is we have the denizens that we're now finding were a remarkable subspecies of man. Sapiens are nothing more than hybrids. They don't have any purity to them at all. And thus, the Bible, in its structure, is a fraud from day one, because that God could have never existed.
You don't expect me to argue that, do you?
Well, I'll chime in. Cover the spread, man.
I think you're exactly right. Religion, as we know it, has been part of human culture for about 50,000 years, speaking anthropologically, and monotheistic religion about maybe 12, 13,000 years. So modern religion, as we know it in a monotheistic sense, is, I think you could call it a Johnny-come-lately in the U.S. or not U.S. in the culture of mankind. So everybody has this concept of, oh, there's only one God, and if you don't believe in one God, you're going to hell. And if I leave Jesus, where do I go? There's nothing else. Wayne, there's a book right now on Amazon that lists 2,500 different gods. If you feel like you need another God, there's a lot of choices. Or how about this? Why don't you just recognize your own divinity within yourself and not go looking for other gods? But it's up to you. And somebody says the Flavians invented religion. That's not accurate. They invented modern religion. They invented Abrahamic religion, we'll say.
Yeah, and I think that's probably more accurate than anything else. All the major three religions are all Abrahamic, let's say, based.
Oh, absolutely. And I had Joseph Atwell on again last week, and just fascinating on the review of Caesar's Messiah and Shakespeare's Secret Messiah. If you haven't read that, Wayne,
I have. It's on my list.
It's amazing. He shows how very compelling that Shakespeare was written by a woman, tells who the woman is, and shows that most of the Shakespearean plays are showing people that the Romans invented Christianity and that the joke's on us.
Now that is original.
It is, and it's powerful. You look at it, and for some reason I was drawn to Shakespeare when I went to college. I took 2 years of Shakespeare, every Shakespeare class they had. Don't know why I did it, but now I know because I'm drawn to it and I get it. And I'm like, oh yeah, that's another proof. Atwell's proven historically that there was no Jesus. And with all due respect to everyone else, I think I've proven that there's no Jesus according to the text of the Bible.
Well, there could never have been. You know, I did a thing, I brought up the letter J, and I asked people this. So what name did Paul preach in?
That's a great question. He wasn't preaching in the name of Jesus.
Couldn't have been.
There was no J.
Well, wasn't there. So, and the thing about it is, and here's an odd thing, Louis Farrakhan, who is very controversial in his stances, however, he's done a lot of compelling research on the fabrication of Jesus. How, now he twisted a little bit more in a racial way, but nevertheless, the research is pretty profound.
Minister Farrakhan.
Yes, exactly.
The minister.
So the question then becomes, all right, so we know that shamanism existed. We got it written in stone. So we know 15,000 years ago, the shamans were there. They saw this comet coming. And it was really interesting, as what I'm reading now, is that the shamans, they were the mediators between what man at that point realized was an unseen force, but they never called it a god, and they apparently really didn't go into the detail of really worshiping it so much. They saw the end coming.
And the question that I have now is uh, in contact with some other folks and not completely sold, but very interested. Was it a comet 12,500 years ago, or was it some type of weaponry that was involved in a cosmic war, which has resulted in the reptilian race, or a reptilian race, being quarantined here on Earth for the last 12,500 years?
I
And
don't
is
know.
that matrix fading?
So you see that layer down there, the guy
Yep.
in the wheelchair. Now he is a Hungarian. He's passed on. That sediment layer right there is sterilized soil.
Oh, how
It's
about
virtually
that?
around the world, folks. Now we know that this particular area in Europe was hit. We know that in Syria was hit with a what they called an open air blast. It was a fragment that hit. So I don't know. It could have been. There was something that
There all
happened.
could have been. I mean, I don't know. Would you date the Grand Canyon to that time as well from a plasma strike?
I would say, yeah. Yeah. I mean, North America had a 2 mile thick ice sheet. It melted literally within a day. And that water turned to steam in huge, vast amounts. It met the ash in the air, which turned it into sulfuric and nitric acid. And that's what rained for, they estimate, for weeks.
Wow,
With
that'll
this,
ruin your whole day.
it had to kill everything.
Yeah.
So here is the question.
Tracy Dyer has heard that comets are not natural.
I hadn't heard that.
I haven't heard that either. That's interesting.
I have to look into that. But here's the mystery now. Graham Hancock has written on it. It's becoming very evident. Archaeologists are finding it. There's this 1,200-year gap, no records. And at the end of this 1,200-year gap, the Younger Dryas event ended, and suddenly man showed up, emerged. And the question is, what happened?
That is a good question, huh?
It is. From there, we get all of our modern day religions, beliefs, angels, demons, yada, yada, yada.
And Wayne, can't you, if you are really a student and a person that has no preconceived notions, no confirmation bias, as you study those religions, don't they all seem to have their basis in a reptilian deity?
I would say yes, sir.
Very interesting that the Pleiadians claim that's when they quarantine the reptilians here, and all of a sudden these reptilian religions start. Just saying.
You just brought up something to my mind. All right, I don't know where Mars was. I'm sure we could probably go find in the maps back to that 13,000 years ago. But the destruction of Mars, was this part of this?
It was, according to the Pleiadians. Now, here's a good question. What if there was no gap? What if they just changed the dates?
I would say, yeah, the only thing I have on that is that we can dig. We can dig
Right,
deep.
that's true.
So I don't deny that. Listen, I think that as your guest, Joseph Atwill, well documented in Caesar's Messiah, they backdated everything by 70 years. That caused the great confusion where Christianity is concerned.
Wow.
And, what was it that in his book that he said, it's very easy when you know the end, how to write the beginning.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, yeah.
Tracy asked, how accurate is the digging?
Well, I don't know. They got radioisotopes. They have, and this is a great book, by the way. It's just filled with some of the most accurate.
Wayne, is it safe to assume that Tracy doesn't exactly dig archaeology?
Probably not. That's okay. So,
That's okay.
That's all right, everyone. I mean, this one here, I'll show another one. These were the last vestiges of man before the comet or whatever it hit. They said
so
it was
if we're digging, Wayne, the land is the land. What's there is what's there. But the question is, how did it get there in its present state?
Yeah. Yeah, and when we find places like this where we dig down, we know that something happened on Earth.
This isn't bedhead. This took me a long time to get this hair like this.
What are you talking about? He was in the bathroom for an hour.
That's right, man.
Like, can I get it this way? What was it? The one with the low water flow? Remember Seinfeld?
Oh yeah, that was
The
they all had the
flathead.
flat hair. That was funny.
Uh, but listen, I think what we have to be able to say is that, well, all of our existence, Tracy, will eventually be buried. And
Yeah,
someone a couple thousand years from now is going to pick up all of our stuff and go, okay, well, these people were weird.
yeah, they are. They're gonna say these guys had no clue.
So here we come back. People are stuck on the Savior. You know, we see the religious wars. But if we have the true record that what we're digging up now, the thing that I found in North America, they're finding evidence. You know who inhabited North America mostly?
Who?
The giants.
Really?
Yes, sir.
Now that's interesting.
So there's a number of books that I have on the giants that I had a client, you know, the Smithsonian, they have a lot of bones of the giants. These are typically about 15 feet in length. And in North America, we have the Ohio mounds, we have the mounds in Illinois, in Cahokia. And throughout North America, we're finding more and more evidence that the giants lived here. The Native American Indians, who go back tens of thousands of years, they called them the Thunder People.
And it's amazing that the Smithsonian has been able to get away with hiding this for so long.
Oh, yeah, man. Remember, they have an agenda here.
No kidding. Yeah, that's for sure.
And if you suddenly start exhibiting, you know, the prehistoric bones of giants, you're going to have to change the narrative, brother. I was like, all right, what do we do now? They know. They
How
know.
does it affect, forget the biblical narrative, how does it affect the historical narrative?
It completely alters, I think, from an anthropological point of view, that there was other races here, other species. Um, it shows again, Homo sapiens are nothing more than mutts. That's all we are.
Were the giants the Titans?
Probably. I think it's where all these folklore stories came from. You know, the Hebrews, they had their take on it. All through other cultures, you go down into South America. Patagonia is where the giants live. There, they still say they live there.
Someone in this chat room is saying that did the giants grow tall because they were from the hollow earth and they were out of the sun?
I don't know.
Interesting.
There's so much misinformation out there that, well, if it became accepted, Jeffrey, you would really have a crowd, because then that means everything we've been taught to believe is wrong.
Absolutely.
And
Well, there's only a amount of time before everybody figures that out.
I hope you're right. I really do.
Well, these people that are supposedly here, Wayne, say that the moon or broadcasts what is essentially the 3D matrix that keeps us where we are, and that it's breaking down. It's actually breaking down. So pretty soon it's going to shut off. That'll be amazing.
You know what? I look at my life. In the last 60 months of my life have completely changed. I would probably say that would be a good cause for it.
Yeah, something you can tell something's happening, and that's an interesting explanation for it.
It is. It is.
And that also explains why the Christian eschatologists, the doom and gloomers, are going absolutely crazy, because they at least sense that their world's about to come to an end, or many of them know it, and they're trying to ramp up the fear to replace the declining frequency from the moon.
You know, and you know, I've taken a lot of flack of this, but that's why I left the Nibiru whole mindset. I mean, it was being taken over by a religiosity that all this was going to lead to mass death, and if you don't accept this Jesus character, then, you know, you're screwed.
Isn't that funny that most of the flat earth people, I'd say a good portion of the flat earth people, and a lot of the Nibiru people, it all gets tied back to the Bible?
It does.
And that's a mistake.
It is a mistake.
If you're a flat earth believer or a Nibiru believer, don't tie it to the Bible, because you can end up with egg on your face.
I mean, I walked away from it because It's not. It's no different. That's a type of proselytization that is, I think, a fraud.
Yeah.
Listen, if the end of the world is going to come, it's happened before. It's going to happen again. All right, I can dig that. Let's talk about it. We can see the effects of it, but don't try to lead me back to your holy book.
No, it's not going to work.
Yeah.
Somebody was saying they saw something on the moon. They watched it for a while. They thought it was a craft or something. I think last night.
I absolutely believe that. I have no doubt about that whatsoever.
Is there any such thing as a flat moon movement or a flat moon doctrine?
Well, in one sense, that's all we see in space is just a flat image,
The interesting point.
Even when we see it from the ISS, the Earth rotating, it's still flat. You don't get
something.
the curvature. I mean, however, lead me not down that path.
Yeah. And a lot of people have made this statement, and I think that, there's some evidence that it could be true, that the moon is actually amplifying a signal from Saturn.
Well, I did a video on it that the moon was the ark, the original ark. And I think it was whoever planted us here, and I think it's been an observation base ever since then.
There's something about it. It's not what we're being told, that's for sure.
I keep getting this creepy feeling at times, Jeffrey, that we're nothing more than mice in a lab. I'm convinced of it.
I prefer to think of us as players in an arena, Wayne.
Okay, I'll take that mindset, but nevertheless, it seems like we're being played.
Right. We're being played until we start playing. And I remember Bill Hicks said life is a game, or he said it's a ride, same thing.
Yeah.
And if we start looking at it that way and start playing to win, then we can change the whole paradigm.
So what if we had this mass consciousness of awaken, and we wake up one day and the world leaders, everyone is coming out and saying, listen, this past, what we've been doing is wrong. It's not working for us. Everything is just turning out bad. We're going to go in the opposite direction. And what we're saying now is that we're going to start seeing ourselves as you just said, as sovereign.
I think it's going to happen. It's just a matter of when is it going to happen.
Well, I'm all for it. Again, I look at this, and my second thought for the day. Do you know that when all human beings are born, that we are born geniuses?
How so, Wayne?
They have found out that at the moment of birth, the human brain...
Wait, is it pancake or waffle day?
I don't know. We have an anniversary tomorrow, so we may be going out.
Dude, you know what day it is for me? Buffet day, breakfast buffet day. So pancake or waffle day, the answer is yes.
So it appears that when a human is born, our brains at that point are at the peak. We can do anything we absorb. So isn't it odd that the older we get, the more dense we become? Babies deplore.
It says it's cupcake for breakfast day.
I love it. 800,000 neurons. Do you know what the average human adult uses?
What?
40.
Wow. Give us those numbers again, Wayne.
800,000 specialized neurons. These are the neurons that make you learn.
Used by?
Human brains, babies, when they're first born. This is what their brains are actually synaptically firing. By the time you hit 30, you're down to 40.
Like 40, Wayne?
40.
That is the best evidence that I've heard for the fear and guilt control matrix.
And by the way, that was from William Shatner's The Unexplained. Friday night show. Check it out.
Was George on that one too?
No, he was not. This one here was simply on the fact that how could there be gods when the human brain, when it's first conceived, and I'm starting to write on this, it has a whole implication, I think, for us spiritually.
Wow, Shatner's breaking some ground.
Yes, he is.
This is like he said in Star Trek V, what if God's not out there? What if God's right here in the human heart?
That's what he is leading towards.
Mm-hmm.
He said every human being when they're first born, and medical science has proven this.
So why can't we talk?
That's a good question. Because the brain is, they're saying we're getting used to the body, and it gives evidence that we're endowed with these five senses that we were not aware of prior to coming in here.
Interesting.
The evidence is this.
Yeah. And we can't walk either. Well, that could be a muscular thing.
Well, the muscles and everything, but it takes the brain to command the muscles to start the movement. And they depicted it. A baby will start learning to rock to begin to get its sense of equilibrium. They start crawling before they can even begin to learn to stand up, because that requires a great deal of mental ability to stand.
Tracy says that the mouth isn't developed enough to speak, but you can teach a baby sign language.
Well, now here's the thing. What we think is the gibberish that babies do, they're talking.
Yeah.
They're literally learning the words that they're hearing.
Mm-hmm.
It sounds like gibberish, but I think that's what people who have strokes.
Oh, Lisa Lyons says that infants use a different language until they're programmed.
Basically, that's correct. They can learn.
You know what? Probably, this just hit me. Infants are probably wondering why we can't talk, because they're telepathically communicating with us, and we're like, duh, we don't get it. So they're probably saying, what's wrong with these damn adults? They can't understand a thing. They don't understand a word I'm thinking.
Thus they cry.
So they're like, what's wrong with you assholes?
When they start crying, we come and say, what's up? Very good point.
And they're trying to give us the telepathy, and we can't get it. So we think the babies can't talk, and the truth is we can't talk. We've forgotten the language.
What if it is the way that...
Thank you, Lisa Lyons. That was a good one.
We're born inverted into an inverted world.
Melissa uses telepathy with her infants.
Wow.
That is a wow.
We're born into this world perfect. The inversion of this world, that when we go out, we're as dense as we could potentially ever be.
It's true. We're getting more dense and more dense and more dense. And I wonder, as you keep coming back here, do you get even more dense?
I just suggest this.
If you keep coming back, you finally get so dense that you're compacted and can't get, and you're done. You can become flat.
Everyone should go visit a nursing home, because it's your future. And the sad part is, folks, we all become so dense. I mean, unless I am of like Dick Van Dyke, having his attitude, his love for the vitality of life, I don't want to know the other side of that, because the other side is not pretty.
Yeah. Dick Van Dyke died, right?
No, he's still alive.
Is he still alive?
Oh,
wow.
Loving life, man. He's dancing. He's for 90, I think he's 90, 91. Yeah. Bob Newhart, the same way.
And you speak about William Shatner. He's only in his 80s, but he's still the hardest working guy in Hollywood. I
mean, the dude is just, there's no stopping him. It's the mystery of life. And I think that's what compels us.
All of William Shatner is in his 80s, but.
Well, isn't he is 80 though, isn't he 80?
Yeah, but that was an allusion to he's had some work done.
Oh.
And good work.
Hey, listen.
Tell you what, William Shatner's plastic surgeon has to be the most popular guy in Hollywood.
And, his toupees were infamous.
Oh, they're the best.
I mean, you're spending tens of thousands of dollars, but it looks good.
He's never admitted that he has a toupee, so I'm kind of holding out, Wayne. I don't know.
Well, all right. We found out that John Travolta did, though.
Well, John Travolta finally made the right decision and shaved his head.
Well, I think acting-wise, he made the wrong choice. Apparently, his last movie was a bomb, a real stinker.
Which one was that?
Oh, you see, exactly. You know how much it made, and they pulled it in the Labor Day weekend. You know how much the thing did in its national distribution?
How much?
$10,000.
Oh, that's not going to get anybody paid.
I mean, come on. That doesn't, yikes. But yeah. And then you got Tom Cruise. Now, talk about the difference of, the two dynamics.
I mean, can you imagine what Top Gun 2 is going to make in its first weekend?
Oh, yeah.
It's
What,
going to just going to
half
crush.
billion?
Oh, it's
Half
going to make a
billion?
lot of money.
Yeah, I would say that. We know Kelly McGillis, what is her name?
Kelly McGillis.
She won't be there.
No, when she complained about it and gets all upset and says it's, it's prejudice and Hollywood doesn't like women that are old. No. How do I say this politically correctly?
Christine Brinkley?
Tom Cruise and Val Kilmer are in the movie because Tom Cruise and Val Kilmer didn't let themselves go. Can I say that?
And Val recovered from esophageal cancer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
That just tells you.
it's got nothing to do with prejudice. It's got to do with the fact that you let yourself go, girl.
I mean, come on, Kelly. I mean,
That's just the bottom line.
the glams, the legs, lady, they're not there anymore.
It's over.
All right, we're going to get in trouble on this.
We are. I mean, she let herself go. That's all you can say.
Well, and it's true. And listen, a lot of guy actors do the same thing.
That's true.
It's a lot of discipline. I was reading a story on Mark Wahlberg, what he had to do in this last film. And of course, I think it was Tom Brady who was saying he envied the guy's abs.
What did Mark Wahlberg's last movie? What was it?
It's one that's coming out. It's
okay.
Yeah, it hasn't even hit yet. So, but
it's hard not to like Mark Wahlberg.
He's just a guy's kind of guy.
He is.
Yeah, I really like him. It's just, have you, if you ever go back into Boston, everyone should go by, get one of the Wahlburger burgers.
Oh, he's got a burger joint now?
Yeah, his younger brother. They did a whole series on that. Yeah, he's apparently a well-known chef.
No kidding. I know he's a really good guy. My buddy Joe is friends with him and says he's just a real saint of a guy, Mark Wahlberg.
He says that they're just real down to earth.
Yep.
Gee, someone that really didn't let it go to their head.
How about that?
But anyway, the point was, he said in the diet that he had to be on, it became very clear most people, well, the vast majority of people would never do it. The discipline, the sacrifice.
Yeah, somebody just said that part of an actor's job is taking care of your body, your voice, and your mind.
Yeah.
And if you don't do that, you don't get to be in the big movies.
I think I'm going to go see the new Joker movie.
I had thought about that. That sounds like it's an interesting psychological study, if nothing else.
When you read Joaquin's his little clip on that, wow. He said he went insane.
He did. Well, just a short trip, but
yeah, at least he did go there. Apparently.
Sideways. Do you know Mark Wahlberg? And if you don't, have a nice cup of shut up.
Someone, I guess, is not a fan.
Yeah, Wahlberg is a tool. I'll guarantee you that person doesn't know Mark Wahlberg.
No. You don't know if. I remember when I met Cheryl Pruitt Blackwood, former Miss America, and that woman was just as down to earth. She was country.
Nice.
Yeah, she really was. And it goes to show you, and you've met a lot of the stars, and there are some that have a big ego, but others I think are very. I hear Dwayne Johnson is much like that.
I've not met The Rock.
I haven't. I've just heard people who have met him, and they said that he is just a very nice guy.
Yeah, I've had a problem with him ever since the Saturday Night Live skit where he joked about having sex with kids.
Did he really?
He did.
What?
And an interesting thing, Wayne, his career took off after that.
Really?
I'm just saying. He says, I'd like to see him say that to Mark's face. Mark's actually a small guy. But he would still wear you out.
He's just a tiny dude. What is he? I think 5'7", 5'8".
Yeah, Cynthia doesn't like The Rock anymore either for that reason.
This is my first time hearing this.
Yeah, it wasn't even subtle. It was awful. It was Saturday Night Live, and he was making a joke about having sex with kids. You can probably Google it.
Yeah, that's. Yeah,
it was very, very bad.
That's messed up, man.
Somebody says Jumanji with The Rock was disturbing. I didn't see it.
I don't know. I mean, I saw the first one.
That was Robin Williams, right?
Yeah. That one was pretty cool. I miss Robin Williams. He was always a good guy. I saw a clip of him and Jonathan Winters on the Tonight Show.
Oh, I remember this. It's right. The thing about Dwayne The Rock Johnson was he invented a child abusing robot in a robot competition.
Oh, well, that's not even cool at all either.
That's not. That's just horrible.
That's yeah. Weren't we talking last week how they're taking over the sex toys?
And guess what? Cynthia reports that last year he was the highest paid actor in Hollywood.
Well,
Imagine that,
Cynthia,
ladies and gentlemen.
I can't imagine. Maybe one day they'll figure this thing out. You can't take it with you.
Oh, that was a great movie. Jonathan talks about there was a movie with The Rock and Mark Wahlberg, and they were bodybuilders. They were running that gym, and they tried to kidnap a guy. That was a great movie.
I didn't see that.
It was funny as hell.
Okay, you see,
Which is a weird thing that we say, funny as hell.
Isn't it?
I mean, hell wouldn't really be funny, but it is funny because it's a joke, and the funny thing is we believe it.
Oh, and it's the favorite thing. Go to hell. I'll see you in hell.
Yeah.
Like, you don't say everyone go to heaven. I'll
You
see you
don't.
in heaven. No, it's because
It's a weird, crazy world we live in.
It's inverted. It's an inverted world. We come into this thing inverted.
Is. And that's why, and this just hit me just this week, or I just talked about it this week. The Bible is opposite and backward. And right now, the verse says, when they say peace and safety, sudden destruction will come upon them. But the reality is when all the Bible people start saying destruction, 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 peace and safety is about ready to break out. That's what I'm looking for.
Yeah.
The exact opposite. Oh, listen to this. I don't know if this is true or not, but Critical Thinker is usually a pretty reliable source. She says that the gorilla that Robin Williams met cried when they told him that Robin had died.
Oh.
Interesting. I hope that's true.
Well, I read this article this week that chimpanzees they said virtually mostly mini apes have the ability they sign, they know, they communicate. I think they're just as, and I'll say this, just as smart as we are.
And they probably do telepathy as well. If we could listen, they're probably like, what's wrong with these humans? They can't understand a damn thing.
Nothing.
And Sam Kinison, when we interviewed him a couple weeks ago, said that Robin was doing well and is happy.
I'm glad to hear that. I think we're all in for a great surprise, a pleasant one. I think it's going to be much pleasant. Jeffrey, too. I had someone email me this week, and I've been doing some research into this. What is your knowledge of the Third Temple and the Trumps, particularly Jared?
Yeah, I've heard that speculation. As far as Donald Trump goes, I think he's out of the Third Temple game. He owed $1 billion literally to the people that want to build the Third Temple. He gave them Jerusalem as the capital. He gave them the Golan Heights. I think he's washed his hands of that deal, and he's no longer beholden to them financially or governmentally. I think he's clear and free to navigate. I know a lot of people are trying to position Jared to become the Antichrist or whatever. I think that's highly speculative, and I think they're still drinking the Jesus Kool-Aid on that, to be frank with you.
Well, I think they've already drank the Kool-Aid.
Yeah.
But when I've been doing the research into these charitable foundations, the Trump organization, and particularly Kushner, he was raised under, who is the rabbi's name? He is the rabbi that has really propelled he's now passed on. But they said that they have all the utensils. They're all completed now. They got the ephod, and they have apparently the Levitical priest ready to go as well. I'm just trying to get your take on this. I was a little surprised because I had not been following this.
Whether they have it or not, whether they build it or not, it has nothing to do with true religion. If they do it, it'll be just part of the false flag to try to validate Jesuit eschatology.
Do you think they're going to try to take out the temple on the mound?
Depends on how desperate they get.
You know,
they won't do it in the next, if Trump gets reelected, they won't do it while Trump's in office.
I'll send you my rough draft of the start. In there, I have a complete story. I wrote this in 2002 of how I saw the temple to being destroyed. And it was not, all the plans that they had made failed, but there was one accident that happened that in fact did take the Mound of the Rock out.
Well, I think what they would like to do is have a temple, and a third temple, a Christian shrine, and a Muslim shrine all on that property, and then rejoin the three religions as one, probably with a ET figure coming down and saying, "I'm the God, you're all my children."
And it's part of their mandate that all people will worship them.
Yep. So I think that's what they're heading for. That's what they're going to try to do. But if I do my job and we do our jobs, they won't be able to do it. But I think that's what they want to do.
Interesting. Well,
and if you look at the actions of the Pope, the imams, and Jewish leaders, you can see them all cuddling up. I think they've decided after thousands of years that the Christians have realized we're not going to be able to take over the world. The Muslims have realized we're not going to be able to take over the whole world. And the Jews have realized the same thing. So they're going to get together and they're going to divide by agreement what they can't win by in warfare.
And I happen to think that they're going to use technology to do that.
Could be. I happen to think they're going to be unsuccessful. I think we're going to stop them.
I hope that's true. I hope that what I've heard specifically with Eric Schmidt, I hope you're right. It's just something stinks with the whole thing, and with Google being a part of this. I just when I started hearing that, yeah,
it's going to be interesting. I mean, I think I will say that the next decade will be the most interesting and exciting decade to be in centuries. This is the best time. We've been born at the best time, and I think most of us, or some of us, are here to lead, and some of us are here to fall. You have to decide which direction you're on. It's time to get off the fence, jump off on one side, or you're going to get knocked off.
Exactly, like what is the carnival game with shooting the ducks? You know?
Oh yeah, exactly.
Bling, bling, bling. Yeah, I happen to think that we're building up to something. It's just so obvious that, and I don't know if this is really
Dror Schmel says that the Muslims, for some reason, I think that he or she might be one, will never give up the Dome of the Rock willingly. But they wouldn't have to give up the Dome of the Rock. The Dome of the Rock stays, the third temple gets built, and a Christian cathedral / shrine gets built there too. Everybody's happy. It's the holiest site in the universe now.
Well, you
can pitch it as the New Jerusalem.
You could. And it would be, listen, it has the thread of Abraham. I mean, Paul writes extensively in the book of Romans about Abraham. You know, we're the seed of Abraham, grafted to the vine. The Muslims believe that it was Ishmael that received the promise, not Isaac. And
guess what, Wayne?
What's that, sir?
Star Trek premiered on this day in 1966.
Did it?
How about that?
Wow, I was 11 years old.
Stay tuned, Dror. Stay tuned.
What's that?
They say it will never work that way. Stay tuned. One thing is for sure is that it won't work the way they've been trying to make it work for the last 6,000 years. That much we know.
Well, they had the meeting in the Vatican Gardens, and in fact, Kenneth Copeland was there.
Yeah, they've already done it. They're already the Pentecostals, Protestants, Muslims,
they all came
Jews,
together.
Catholics. They're all already getting together. They're already planning it. It's just, can they pull it off?
Go to his thing. You'll hear what he said. He said, sitting at the table with the Pope right there, saying there is a new agreement of coming together. And when I hear someone like Copeland saying something like that, the old radar goes up like, uh-oh, who invited him?
If Copeland's in it, he's getting paid.
Oh,
now is he getting paid, or is he planning on capitalizing on being part of the reunion to get him paid?
Oh, he's worth $1.2 billion.
That makes me almost as mad as Obama's wealth. Although Kenneth Copeland's had to fool a lot more people for a lot longer than Barack.
A lot longer, and it's worked. I mean, if
I wonder if Kenneth Copeland even has a soul anymore, or if he's just a walk-in for some dark spirit.
That interview that who was it? Entertainment Tonight did.
Yeah, that caught him getting out of his plane.
I mean, I saw manifestations of many different personalities.
Yeah.
You saw the, oh, sweetie. Now I'm telling you, and you're going, mm-hmm.
Yeah. Wow. You've met Kenneth, right?
Oh, personally, sat down, broken bread with him, and now I realize as I look
at the same guy?
Oh yeah, it's heavy magic, and that's the only word I got to say.
Do you think he's still the same guy that you met back then?
Who knows?
Yeah, because I never met Kenneth.
Yeah, when I met Kenneth, that was back in 1984.
Wow.
He used to come to the Full Gospel Businessmen's meeting.
I remember that stuff.
Yeah. So he would have his crusade start on Thursday night. He would come in, and we would all get together, pray, lay hands on each other. He would come to our Full Gospel.
See, listen to these people. He's not a Muslim, he's a Jew. As a Jew, I can guarantee you that no temple will get built on the mount if a mosque or church are included. That I guarantee you. Stay tuned.
Yeah.
Stay tuned.
Stranger things have happened, my friend.
Stranger things have happened, my friend. Absolutely.
Yes. But yeah, and I look back on those days, Jeffrey, I don't know about you, but wow, I was really under a spell. I mean, you worship these people. You really think
still are.
You really think that these people have a direct connection, a special connection with Jesus. When Kenneth would go up there and start prophesying what the new year was going to be. Folks, that's conjuring. Isn't it?
Absolutely it is.
I mean, you're conjuring something other than yourself unless you're just making it up.
Yep.
I don't know.
You are conjuring.
Ay. Well,
it's going to be interesting times. I still think we can stop them.
I think if we continue these type of formats where we can openly discuss these issues, people have a lot of, back and forth on it, but I think we're going to get there.
I do too. I really do. I think we're going to make it.
Well, buddy, I know you have a show to do at the top of the hour.
No, it's at 10 o'clock. We have an hour in between.
Oh, okay. Well, then I was going to say, I know you had to start writing this stuff down.
No, we have an hour in between.
I was going to go, wow, I hadn't time zones. But
can you imagine just thinking on an energetic scale, if you could combine all of the intention of the Jews, all the intention of the Christians, and all the intention of the Muslims, and make it into a common intention, that's their only chance of winning, Wayne. That's why they want to do it. It's the last desperate act of Abrahamic religion. Let's come together and see if we can put enough juju together to beat the people that are coming to defeat us.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, I like that. I got to write that down. It's their last shot.
And we never talk about the Hindus. The Hindus, they're just as strong. And I look at this. Can I ask you something? When you just said something. So we talked about the beginning of the comet hitting Earth, whatever destroyed it. We know it was hit. Then this God shows up, the Jewish God. The only way you look at this thing, it's an alien.
Oh, yeah, definitely an extraterrestrial.
It's an extraterrestrial.
By definition.
Yeah. Literally.
It's a reptilian extraterrestrial.
Yeah, I think it's literal.
Yeah.
There was times when I was, all right, is this literary or is this, figuratively, metaphorically? No, now I know it's the only way it could have happened.
Yeah.
It was literally an alien that came down here and, whatever it did gave us enough that it's still the mind spell today. Wow.
Was Moses even real? I sometimes thought Moses called him in, but I don't even know if Moses was even real.
Yeah, I'm becoming more convinced that it was just a mythos.
Yeah.
No one's seen it. I had someone try to rake me over the coals about what we talked last week, particularly about the New Testament, and saying that it was the only verified word of God and that it was absolute.
That's so stupid. I'm sorry. That's just stupid.
It is stupid. And I asked him, I said, so have you ever seen an original book? Has anyone ever seen an original book?
No.
But yet
not.
People will absolutely, they'll hang you, brother.
Yeah. I know it's just another story, but the idea that the Pleiadians quarantined the reptilians here about 12,500 years ago, that makes a lot of sense. It adds up in a lot of ways to me. So we'll see. We'll see. We're gonna have a show with these guys, Wayne. It's gonna be interesting at the least.
When you doing this again?
We're still negotiating the time frame of when to do it, because apparently it's kind of difficult, because I'll just tell you what they say. There's a ship in orbit, and the people on the ship in orbit communicate with the people here on Earth via some type of an instant message platform, because they have to use the technology that is available in the world. And we're just working out the logistics of being able to get that all lined up to be able to do a live show with them.
Cool.
It'll be interesting.
I have heard.
Hey, my mind is open.
I've heard that they've had that ship stationed directly over the North Pole.
Oh, so you've heard about this ship too?
Mm-hmm. And it's the only in the North Pole where we can't get a satellite view.
Isn't that interesting?
If
I was standing out, Wayne, at night, and I know this is kind of a stupid question, and I'm trying to look at where the North Pole would be in the sky, do I look north?
No.
Where would you look?
I would, in your case, I think it would probably be more northeast. If you're on the continental United States, it'd be more northeast.
Interesting.
Yeah. And remember BP Earthwatch?
No.
All right. Well, BP back in the day,
British Paladonian or whatever.
I don't know what BP stood for.
The gas station, right?
But he was a guy that lived down in Florida, and until he got off into politics, and then YouTube canned him. But he actually had probably some of the best surveillance points where you could see there is something up there.
Interesting.
And no one talks about it. No one ever mentions it. I happen to think that they're right. I happen to think that there's a fleet on the moon. That's just my opinion.
Somebody said it was British Petroleum. I'm pretty sure it was British Paladonian. Let's see. What did BP stand for?
British Petroleum, I think.
I want to say it was British Paladonian. I don't know why.
Shane says BP Earthwatch is back on YouTube. Okay, well, there you go.
British Petroleum. Damn it. I was wrong.
Oh, well.
Mark that down, folks. It doesn't happen very often. British Petroleum. That made too much sense. Yeah. But sometimes the simple answer is the right answer.
Sometimes it is. Oh, boy. Well,
that's what I get for going against the Oracle, Tracy Dyer.
I heard this, and everyone check this out on a guy who I met. But we're finding now incidences.
Cynthia says, "Oh no, it's over. I've been wrong."
Yeah, do you hear it, Cynthia? Oh no. Well, we've shifted. That's all I got to say. We've shifted. Yeah. I don't know into what, but we've shifted.
What's your point, Wayne? I'm sorry.
The last thing is apparently we're now finding incidences of, are you ready for this? Of plasma. I don't know if you want to call them plasma burst, happening in various parts of the country.
Interesting. Yeah, I saw that. Where were we? We were at Contact in the Desert, I believe. Yeah. And John, no, this was at LeakCon, and John D'Souza did a presentation on it and showed video of these, which, I mean, it could only be plasma bursts.
Yeah. Things are happening.
Yeah, it was very, very interesting that he did that. Very interesting. Lots of interesting stuff going on. Like I said, it's an exciting time to be alive.
It is really exciting time, and I'm glad I'm here.
Me too. It's the best, most exciting time to be alive.
Yeah.
And Wayne, let me ask a question. If you what do you think the energetic implications are? Oh, BP Earthwatch is the new channel, supposedly. BP
Okay.
Earthwatch.
All right. Thank you.
What do you think the energetic ramifications are of cursing a person verbally? I
Mm,
curse you to unemployment. I curse you to homelessness. What do you think is the bounce back on that energetically and the one that delivers the curse?
I think it's a boomerang effect.
I do too.
I do. I've learned the hard way.
I mean, favor works that way. If you speak favor over people, favor comes back to you.
I've got hundreds of emails where people have started using favor, and
Yeah,
it's spreading. It's spreading all over the world. I'm hearing
it
other
is.
people now invoking favor.
I've never seen it not work, Wayne.
I haven't either.
And the
Yeah.
two times that I've used it, it was quasi miraculous, and I'm going to use it a third time. So,
I just did a favor ritual, with the new moon, and it's powerful. It's powerful.
yeah.
That's all I. It's a tangible, energetic force.
Even kids know it, Wayne. I'm rubber, you're glue. Whatever you say bounces off me and sticks to
So,
you.
yes, yes.
Even
And
kids know it. Tracy, that's what you were reaching for the other night, by the way.
um, fifth grade teacher, Miss Buttons. Remember, when you're pointing your finger, you've got three more pointing back at you.
Yep. Ain't that the truth?
It's the truth and wisdom. That's all I got to say.
So I'm going to go look at BP Earthwatch. I don't know about anybody else, but I'm going to go check that out.
Yeah,
And we'll get him on our channel if he does have a channel back.
yeah.
I got some great people coming on, Wayne. I can't remember all of their names right now, but George Cavasalis. I don't remember. I don't know how to say his last name, but he's coming on. That's going to be really a lot of fun.
Now, where's he? What's his?
Oh, his stuff is deep, man. You can't even say what it is. Deep.
Okay. I go pretty deep, but deep, huh?
Yep, deep.
Deep. All right. Well, I like deep stuff.
Absolutely.
It's good.
Well, here we are at the end of another hour.
I have Ken Humphreys coming on, by the way.
What does Ken do?
Ken actually has written a number of books. His book, this is the intro to the big one, Jesus Never Existed.
Oh, that's a nice one.
I'm
like
also in talking with David Fitzgerald. Great book by his.
Nailed.
10 Myths of Christianity.
Nice.
So, and I got some people. So,
sounds like fun.
I'm going to have to listen to George. Now you got me curious. I mean, if someone is so deep that, it's like, well, it's hard to really explain how deep he goes. And
It is hard to explain because he was just talking about, the other day I saw a video. He gave a really good explanation of why Christianity is so hard to break out of.
Ooh.
Cynthia says that BP is a Christian channel, so it might not be for us, Wayne.
No, he's really into the Jesus thing. It's the end of the world. And
oh, see, I hate that. I hate it. I mean, they bring this good information and they throw it right back to Jesus. God, it's terrible.
Well, maybe they ought to listen to us a little bit.
Maybe they should. Maybe we should do a little group podcast or something. I guess it's called a swap cast, Wayne. Where you all do a podcast, everybody puts it on their channel.
Can we do that?
Yeah, we could probably do that. Well, we'll talk to him. We'll see what happens.
Hey.
Somebody says he's fear porn. Well,
yes.
We'll see.
Deep into the thing, everything is coming into the world. But hey, the world ends all the time.
It does.
I mean, every day it dies, and every morning it's reborn. Oh, wait a minute. That's Egyptian mythology. Excuse me.
Well, even Mr. Spock said in Star Trek 6 that the end of the world is replete. It's happened. It keeps happening, keeps happening, keeps happening. So,
can I quote the Moody Blues?
Sure.
From death, new life shall emerge.
Absolutely. I'm trying to remember the exact Spock quote. The end of the world is replete. Yeah, it just happens all the time.
It does. It's
And David McCain says it ended in 1812. So there we go.
yeah, it's going to end again.
Wayne, been a pleasure.
Jeffrey, it's always a pleasure on Sunday.
And all of you in the chat room, it's been a pleasure as well.
Have fun up there, my friend.
I'm having a great time. And I disagree with you, Viola, but thanks for being here.
You know what? I'm going to speak favor upon you, Jeffrey, that
Thank you.
may favor guide you as you go forth this day.
And you too, my friend.
Oh, thank you, my friend. Absolutely.
And in the immortal words of Commander Spock, live long and prosper, Wayne Steiger.
Thank you, sir.
And to you all as well. Take care.
All right. Bye-bye.